Okay, I want to start today's session by just saying a big, it sounds a little bit patronising, but well done to my friend Paul Regan. It's 15 years today. He's been sober 15 years today, which is just such an amazing achievement. And Paul is an amazing guy. I class him as a really good friend of mine. We did a lot of work together. He's a CBT therapist, and he was brilliant. I learnt so much of him. Real sort of from the life of hard knocks, the school of hard knocks. Says it how it is, and I've just got so much time for him. So well done, Paul. 15 years sober is just a brilliant achievement. I'm hoping that on one of the sessions here, maybe when we do the group sessions, which will be starting soon, we can look at addiction, and maybe someone like Paul, I've got a couple of other friends as well who specialise in that field, can come in and give us a talk about it. I've worked with loads of people that are addicted to cocaine and alcohol and all sorts, believe it or not, sex addictions, gambling addictions. It's a tough area to work in because there's quite often a lot of setbacks, but you know, Paul is one of those people that's living proof of that you can change if you want to do it. It's not easy, and he'll tell you that himself. So well done, Paul. I've called this film today Your Dog, and the reason I've called it Your Dog is because I want to stick on the theme of fear for a while, because it's such an important area. It's a massive area, and the feedback I'm getting from the little clips around fear have been really good. People have been saying how much it's helped them, so I want to stick with that. And I've called it Your Dog because it reminded me of a story that I've put in my book, Fighter, Rescue a Healer. And that is a plug for the book. You can only get it on Kindle now. You can download it. But in the book I talked about growing up as a kid. I was brought up in Wood End. It's an area of Coventry for people that don't know. We used to call it Dodge City growing up. It was quite a rough area. I loved it. I loved growing up there. You know, it was brilliant. It was like a kid's playground, really. You know, there was so much going on. But most of it we made ourselves, to be fair. And one of the things I used to love doing as a kid was playing football. And we all played football in our little close up against the garages that were all broken, and I had to... I remember getting told off by my mum once because at the time I supported Chelsea and spraying Chelsea on the garages, and she smacked me around the head for it, for two reasons. One, for spraying the garages, which were covered in graffiti anyway, and also because I spelt Chelsea wrong. I've never been a great speller, so she was saying to me, you didn't even spell it right, as she was clapping me around the head. But we used to play in this little close, and in this little close there were some masonettes, and in the masonettes a couple lived there, and they had a big Alsatian. It was massive. Its name was Rebel. And you know, thinking back now, why you would have a dog that size living in a masonette. It was never walked, it wasn't really looked after, and every now and again it would go for somebody. You know, it would bite the postman, the postwomen. It was a massive dog, and we'd play football in this close, and once in a while it used to sit at the top of the stairs in these masonettes, and once in a while it would suddenly move, and we'd see it coming down the stairs, and we'd all stand there because it would just, for some reason, it would home in on somebody, and it'd be a different person every time. And we would all wait, we'd all stop our game, someone would see that Rebel was on the move, and we'd all stop. We were all scared of it to a certain extent. A massive dog, bearing in mind we're kids as well, and Alsatians are big dogs, and this was a vicious dog as well. So one day we're playing football, and there was a wall in this close against the garages which I could never get over. It was up here, and all the other kids used to give me stick because I could never get over this wall. I was one of the only ones who couldn't climb it. I think I had a bit of a fear of heights, which again is another fear of mine, which is quite ironic going on to become a fireman and working at heights all the time. To be honest, even to this day, I'll go up heights, but I don't really like them. So anyway, we're playing football one day, and all of a sudden this Rebel starts to move, and everybody freezes. And we watch him come down the stairs of the masonettes and start to get a sprint on towards us, and we're all watching. Everyone's going to run, but obviously he's going to home in on one person, and that person's had it. And we're all waiting to see who he's going to home in on, and all praying that it'll be someone else. I'm praying that it's going to be my best friend, Frank McGee, which sounds bad, but I'm terrified of this dog. And as the dog gets closer and closer, it becomes clear that I'm his target for that day. And I see him come in. I turn, I run, and I run towards the wall, and then thinking, oh shit, I'm going towards this wall, he's going to trap me against the wall, I've had it. And I remember just almost running up the wall and being over the wall in a couple of seconds. And I've never forgotten that experience. The fear of Rebel, which was much greater than my fear of getting over that wall. You couldn't see me for dust. I think I would have beat Linford Christie, and even at that age, I was so scared of this dog. And I understand now that's adrenaline. I understand what was going on. The story gets a little bit better for me because a few years ago, probably 15 years ago now, I'd never had a dog growing up. And the kids were getting a bit older, and they were always saying to me, you know, can we have a dog, can we have a dog? And one year I just decided, after actually a few years of debating it and going into work in the fire service and saying to the guys there, I'm thinking about getting a dog. And in the end, one of them said, for God's sake, why don't you just shut up and get a dog? If you can't look after it, I'll take it off your hands. They were that fed up of me talking about getting a dog. So I went and looked at a dog, and my wife had always said that if we had a dog, she would want a German Shepherd, an Alsatian. So we went and looked, me and the kids went and looked at these little puppies, and as a surprise for Mother's Day one year, we came home with this little dog, a little puppy German Shepherd. And part of me was thinking, what have you done? Because this dog's beautiful now, he's a little ball of fluff, but he's going to grow into a big dog. And ironically, I found this really hard. This is what, talk about coincidences. When I said to the owner, you know, what's his name? His name was Rebel, which was the name of the dog, the Alsatian that I was so scared of growing up. So my first goal was to change his name, and we let the kids pick the name, and they picked the name Duke. So we changed him from Rebel to Duke. So I had this breed of dog that I was really scared of, and I was determined, never had a dog before, and he was going to be a big dog that I was going to train him. And it took me probably 12 months taking him to different training schools, hours and hours over the fields with him on a long line, training him. It took me about 12 months, but that dog, you know, it's probably one of the best decisions that I'd ever made, getting that dog. He became probably, I know it sounds sad to some people, but if you've had a dog, you'll know what I'm on about. He became one of my best mates. He was brilliant. He never left my side. You know, if I took him for a walk, he was by my side. If I called him, even if he was in full flow chasing a rabbit or a squirrel, he'd come straight back. And it wasn't until he died a couple of years ago, which devastated us all. He lived till nearly 13, which was a great age for one of those dogs, apparently. Still miss him. But it wasn't until I sat down to write my book that I remembered about Rebel growing up, and how I was so scared of that dog. And again, it became a metaphor for me that I had another dog years later. If we say that the dog represents fear, I'd gone from running away from the thing that I was scared of and running over walls to get away from it, to actually having my fear by my side, under control, still there, still a dangerous dog if he had wanted to be, but now I've got it under control. You know, I can put him on a lead, I can put my fear on a lead, I can control it. And like I said before in these videos, my fear's never gone away, I've just learnt to control it. I've learnt to take control of it. Sometimes that takes a bit of doing, but I've learnt to control my fear. A bit like having Duke or Rebel walking beside me and pretty much doing what I wanted to do and actually becoming a great friend. So maybe the message for this, I've called it Your Dog. What's your dog? What's your fear? If you can control that fear, if you can get it on your side, it can become a great friend like my dog, a great adversary. You know, always glad to see you, always going to be there. I think as human beings we can learn a lot from dogs, actually. So that's the end of this film. I've gone on a little bit longer than I'd wanted to. We'll be starting the group soon, very soon, hopefully by the end of next week. I know a lot of people have put their name down to join the groups. I haven't started accepting people yet because I want to get it all sorted out. The idea of the groups, that I'll probably be doing one of these. Well, I'm going to be doing a live video clip probably once a week or once every 10 days that people can come on and join in and connect to. And I'll be going into things in a lot deeper detail. So look out for that. It's all free. Look out for that. And enjoy the rest of your Friday. I'm back at the gym later. I was in early this morning doing a couple of hours training people, and I've got a few later this afternoon and this evening as well. So enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you for watching. And once again, I know I keep saying it, but it is appreciated. Thanks for all the kind comments. Thank you.